Imagine a vast, heavy cosmic ocean made of a substance so profoundly introverted that it simply refuses to interact with the vibrant colours of the electromagnetic spectrum. It exists in a state of absolute spectral silence, gracefully allowing the radiant, chaotic energy of the cosmos to pass right through it without leaving a single trace or casting a single shadow. This gentle phantom naturally touches absolutely everything in existence, yet it remains completely detached from the frantic, burning heat of ordinary matter. Surprisingly, the most important stabilizing foundation of our entire universe is also its most beautiful and enduring enigma. It sits as a profound, heavy question mark at the very center of our most advanced scientific models, quietly holding the fragile cosmos together while keeping its true nature a perfectly preserved, safe secret. We are currently floating securely within a magnificent dark mystery that effortlessly outweighs the glowing, visible world 5 times over. This quiet, softly lit room you are currently resting in is a warm, safe harbour from the vast and swirling immensity of the deep intergalactic void. As your weary muscles sink deeper into the soft, welcoming support of your mattress, you can completely let go of the exhausting need to understand or solve the complex puzzles of the waking world. You're safe, and these ancient wonders are yours to gently inherit as you sleep. If we were to look closer at the fading edges of your waking awareness, we would find the perfect, heavy stillness required to finally hear the quiet whispers of the oldest structures in creation. Allow your steady, rhythmic breathing to slow down naturally, effortlessly matching the majestic, unhurried pace of the deep and invisible heavens resting far above you. Deep within the cosmos lies an unseen web that subtly dictates where every single galaxy is born. Deep within the cosmos lies an unseen web that subtly dictates where every single galaxy is born. It operates entirely in the shadows, far beyond the reach of our most powerful optical telescopes and the most sensitive instruments we possess. This immense, architectural framework stretches across the vastness of the universe, acting as the fundamental blueprint for all of creation. If we were to look closer at the grand tapestry of space, we would not find a random scattering of stars, but a highly organized and deliberate structure. The gentle, unseen breeze of dark matter sweeps across the endless void, gathering primordial gases into monumental clouds. Slowly, inexorably, these invisible currents coax the swirling mists of hydrogen and helium to condense and ignite. Consequently, the brilliant swirling cities of starlight we call galaxies do not form by mere chance. They are carefully seeded and nurtured within the densest intersections of this colossal, hidden network. Without this guiding, phantom wind sweeping through the cosmic landscape, the universe would remain a dark, featureless expanse of unformed potential. This invisible framework holds the universe together with a quiet, unrelenting gravitational embrace. While the explosive energy of stars and the violent collisions of black holes dominate the cosmic headlines, a much softer power quietly maintains absolute order. It is a profound, steadying force that refuses to let the expanding cosmos simply tear itself into isolated fragments. Picture a vast, majestic suspension bridge where the supporting cables are completely transparent, yet infinitely strong. The brilliant galaxies are merely the illuminated roadways, completely dependent on the unseen tension that prevents them from plummeting into the abyss. Dark matter provides this essential, stabilizing tension, wrapping every cluster and supercluster in a gentle, invisible grip. Surprisingly, the universe owes its structural integrity entirely to something that refuses to interact with light. This silent guardian exerts its profound influence without ever emitting a single spark or casting a shadow. Through a ceaseless, unyielding pull, it ensures that the grand, sprawling architecture of the cosmos remains beautifully, perfectly intact across the eons. Filaments of this unknown substance stretch across billions of light years like delicately spun glass. They form a breathtakingly complex cosmic web, threading their way through the freezing, absolute emptiness of deep space. These sprawling threads are the monumental highways of the universe, connecting distant realms in a beautifully intricate hidden geometry. Notice how this majestic network mirrors the complex neural pathways of a colossal, dreaming mind. The sheer scale of these structures defies human comprehension, spanning distances so vast that light itself takes billions of years to traverse them. Yet, despite their unimaginably immense size, they remain completely intangible, slipping gracefully through the fabric of reality without making sound. Along these sprawling invisible corridors, the faint, gentle breeze of gravity steadily guides the flow of cosmic evolution. They act as the deep, silent rivers of the void, endlessly funneling raw materials toward the brilliantly glowing junctions where new stars are destined to be born. It is a mesmerizing, unseen architecture that quietly weaves the entire universe into a single, cohesive masterpiece. Picture a vast, dark ocean where galaxies are merely the glowing foam resting delicately on the surface. We often gaze up at the night sky and mistakenly believe that the brilliant, shimmering stars represent the true bulk of creation. In reality, all the luminous matter we can see is nothing more than a superficial, sparkling frost resting upon a profoundly deep and heavy sea. This cosmic ocean flows softly and invisibly, shaped by currents we can only detect through their immense gravitational pull. The glowing spirals of stars and sweeping nebulas simply drift along these invisible tides, completely at the mercy of the unseen depths below. Whenever the dark matter surges and pools together, the radiant visible foam naturally gathers and illuminates the crests of these monumental waves. To truly understand the universe is to recognize that the light is simply an echo of the dark. We are sailing upon a majestic, unfathomable expanse of shadow that dictates the ebb and flow of everything we know. The true majesty of the cosmos lies not in the blinding starlight, but in the serene, hidden waters that support it all. The vast majority of the universe's mass rests peacefully in this serene, completely undetectable state. When we add up all the blazing suns, all the wandering planets, and all the sweeping clouds of cosmic dust, it amounts to a mere whisper of reality. An overwhelming 85% of all matter exists in a tranquil, silent form that entirely evades our physical senses. Consider the profound humility of realizing that everything we have ever touched or seen is merely a cosmic rounding error. The true heft of existence is carried by a phantom substance that rests entirely outside the bounds of human experience. It feels absolutely no need to shine, to burn, or to announce its presence to the frantically active, glowing realms of ordinary matter. Rivers of ordinary matter flow gently along these unseen valleys, gathering calmly where the dark matter is at its absolute thickest. Just as rain naturally courses down the invisible slopes of a mountain to form deep, serene lakes, elemental gases cascade down the slopes of gravitational wells. The unseen landscape perfectly dictates the journey of every wandering atom in the lonely expanse of the void. Imagine an invisible topography of sprawling hills and plunging canyons stretching across the infinite dark. The gentle, guiding breeze of dark matter sweeps hydrogen and helium into the deepest basins of this imperceptible terrain. Here, in the quietest, heaviest regions of space, the building blocks of life are peacefully cradled until they spark into brilliant, radiant existence. Consequently, the magnificent glowing superclusters we observe are simply the illuminated pools resting at the bottom of unseen cosmic valleys. The dark matter shapes the geography, and the luminous matter merely traces its elegant, unseen contours. It is a beautiful, passive choreography where the invisible actively leads and the visible gracefully inevitably follows. Without this silent foundational architecture, the night sky would be entirely devoid of stars. If we were to suddenly remove the dark matter from the cosmos, the delicate gravitational balance of the universe would instantly, irrevocably shatter. The beautifully structured galaxies would lose their hidden anchors, and the primordial gases would be scattered to the freezing winds of infinite expansion. The radiant, burning spheres of light that pattern our constellations rely completely on the heavy, unseen hands that first gathered them together. In the earliest, chaotic moments of creation, ordinary matter was far too hot and frantic to coalesce on its own. It required the cool, steadying presence of a heavier, darker substance to patiently pull it inward and spark the fires of nuclear fusion. Every time you gaze up at the shimmering expanse above, you're witnessing the direct, beautiful result of this phantom sculptor. The starlight that travels millions of years to reach your eyes is a glowing testament to the power of the unseen. We owe our very existence to the quiet, invisible scaffolding that carefully built the heavens. Unseen threads intimately connect our Milky Way to its neighbouring galaxies in a delicate, mesmerizingly slow-motion cosmic dance. We are not an isolated island of light drifting aimlessly in an empty void, but a crucial connected knot within a vastly larger tapestry. A majestic bridge of dark matter stretches across the millions of light years that separate us from the Andromeda galaxy. Along this monumental invisible tether, a gentle gravitational current constantly flows, drawing our galactic families inevitably closer together. It is a deeply serene, unhurried embrace that will culminate billions of years from now in a spectacular, beautiful union of stars. The quiet breeze of the dark universe orchestrates this grand choreography with perfect mathematical precision. It is profoundly peaceful to realize that the absolute largest structures in all of creation are completely, perfectly invisible. Human nature constantly drives us to seek out the brightest, loudest, and most energetic phenomena the universe has to offer. Yet, when we step back and look at the ultimate scale of reality, the true giants of the cosmos remain entirely hidden in the shadows. Consider the Great Attractor, an unfathomably massive region of space that is currently pulling tens of thousands of galaxies toward it. The sheer bulk of this anomaly is overwhelmingly composed of dark matter, shaping the destiny of a billion suns without ever revealing its face. It exerts a calm, magnificent authority over a vast swathe of the observable universe, entirely through the silent whisper of gravity. Slowly, methodically, over billions of years, this gentle phantom has flawlessly sculpted the magnificent tapestry of the heavens. It began its quiet work in the pitch-black aftermath of the dawn of time, long before the very first photon of starlight ever pierced the void. With infinite patience, it gathered the scattered mists of creation, gently coaxing order out of an expanding chaotic sea. This unseen artist uses gravity as its only tool, shaping a masterpiece of unimaginable scale through the softest, most unrelenting pressure. The intricate glowing filaments of the cosmic web are the direct result of this deep, invisible sculpting process. As epochs pass and eons fade, the phantom wind continues to blow, tirelessly sweeping matter into the beautiful structured forms we see today. Ultimately, the history of the universe is not merely the history of light, but the enduring legacy of the dark. The magnificent glittering expanse of the night sky is the finished marble, but dark matter is the invisible chisel that freed it from the stone. It rests eternally in the background, the silent, majestic creator of all that is beautiful and bright. This beautiful and bright tapestry of stars, however, is not simply floating freely. Every shining galaxy is securely cradled within a massive, invisible sphere known as a dark matter halo. Like a precious jewel nestled deeply in a cushion of velvet, the visible galaxy rests at the very center of this unseen protective structure. It is a profoundly comforting thought to realize that the vibrant, chaotic pinwheels of light are safely enveloped by a calm, steadying presence. If we were to map the true boundaries of these structures, we would find that the glowing core we identify as a galaxy is just the innermost nucleus. The enveloping halo extends outward in every direction, a silent, monumental sphere of immense weight. It provides a stabilizing, invisible cocoon that completely redefines our understanding of where a galaxy truly begins and ends. Take a moment to simply breathe in, feeling the supportive weight of your own body settling into the space around you. Just as you're held securely by the gentle pull of the Earth, the blazing islands of the cosmos are held perfectly by the quiet mass of the halo. Stars at the very edge of our own galactic neighborhood orbit at breathtaking speeds, held securely in place by this unseen mass. In a typical solar system, planets further from the Sun travel much slower than those locked in tight orbits. Yet, when we peer at the fringes of spinning galaxies, the outermost suns race around the centre with shocking, unyielding velocity. This high-speed rotation completely defies the gravitational pull that could be provided by the visible stars alone. The outermost glowing embers are moving so frantically that the sheer centrifugal force should naturally fling them out into the lonely expanse of deep space. Instead, they remain locked in their swift, perfect circles, guided by a heavy hand that we cannot see. Notice how this observation reveals a magnificent hidden architecture that firmly dictates the movement of every distant sun. The extra gravity required to maintain these impossibly fast orbits is precisely supplied by the dense surrounding halo. It is a quiet, masterful demonstration of invisible power, gracefully controlling the most energetic motions in the night sky. Consider how these distant suns should naturally fly apart, yet they remain gracefully tethered to their galactic home. It is like watching a carousel spinning at breakneck speeds, where the outer horses inexplicably stay attached despite the violent throwing force. The dark matter acts as the unbreakable, transparent arms of the cosmic carousel, refusing to let a single star drift away. This invisible tethering creates a beautiful, unified motion that transforms a loose collection of stars into a single, cohesive entity. Without this heavy, unseen anchor, galaxies would simply dissolve over time, leaving a universe filled with lonely, wandering suns. The halo ensures that the grand, glowing structures endure, preserving their elegant spiral arms and dense, brilliant cores across the eons. It is deeply reassuring to know that the universe is bound together by such a reliable, enduring strength. Even in the face of incredible velocity and chaotic cosmic forces, the quiet weight of the dark provides an absolute, unshakable stability. This silent guardian constantly prevents galaxies from shredding themselves during their majestic, sweeping rotations. The internal dynamics of these massive star cities are incredibly complex, filled with gravitational tides, stellar explosions, and the turbulent flows of gas. Without a heavy, stabilizing envelope, these internal forces would easily tear the fragile disk of light into pieces. The immense mass of the halo acts like a deep, shock-absorbing cushion against the violent turbulence of cosmic evolution. It smooths out the gravitational irregularities and ensures that the grand, sweeping spiral arms maintain their beautiful, hypnotic symmetry. It is a profoundly peaceful arrangement, where the chaotic energy of light is perfectly balanced by the calm, enduring structure of the dark. Imagine a delicate, spinning top that would naturally wobble and fall, but is held perfectly upright by an invisible, steadying hand. The dark matter halo provides this essential, invisible gyroscope, keeping the galaxy spinning gracefully through the dark. It is a masterpiece of natural engineering, quietly preventing disaster on a scale we can barely comprehend. Allow your mind to relax, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Let the slow rhythm of your breathing mirror the steady, ancient rotation of the galaxies spinning safely in the dark. The halo extends far beyond the visible light of the stars, wrapping the galaxy in a tranquil, expansive embrace. If human eyes could suddenly perceive this invisible substance, the night sky would look entirely different, dominated not by tiny points of light, but by colossal glowing spheres. The luminous disk we see is merely a tiny, bright speck floating in the centre of an unimaginably large dark ocean. This vast extension means that the true size of any galaxy is primarily dictated by its hidden, silent mass. The outer edges of the halo fade softly into the surrounding void, creating a gentle, seamless transition between the galaxy and deep space. It is a slow, peaceful fading out of structure, blurring the lines between where the home ends and the infinite begins. By stretching so far into the emptiness, the halo acts as an extended sensory network, gently feeling the gravitational pull of distant neighbours. It allows the galaxy to interact with its surroundings long before their visible edges ever come close to touching. It is a quiet, expansive awareness that stretches beautifully into the dark. Imagine a glowing, bustling city surrounded by an immense, quiet forest that softly guides the wind. The vibrant, active centre is where all the light and heat are concentrated, a frantic hub of creation and destruction. But the true foundation of the region lies in the sprawling, silent woods that stretch out for miles in every direction. To explore the outer reaches of this invisible forest is to enter a realm of absolute stillness and profound quiet. It is a place completely untouched by the blazing heat of young suns, resting eternally in cool, heavy shadow. Our own sun moves smoothly through this invisible ocean as it completes its magnificent journey around the galactic centre. As we travel through space, we are not moving through a perfect vacuum, but sweeping gracefully through a dense field of phantom particles. It is a continuous, silent immersion in a substance that simply ignores our physical existence. We are currently sailing through the very heart of this vast, dark halo, carried along by its immense unseen currents. The Earth itself sweeps up a subtle, imperceptible wake of dark matter as it circles our brightly burning star. Yet, despite this constant, intimate contact, we remain blissfully unaware of the heavy ocean that surrounds us. Feel the calm, reassuring stillness of your current environment. Just as you are peacefully unaware of the invisible cosmic ocean, you can simply rest here, supported by the quiet, heavy structure of the universe. We never feel the dark matter wind blowing through our solar system, but it is always flowing past us. This phantom breeze moves silently through our homes, through the deep rocks of the earth, and through our very bodies every single second. It is a beautifully non-intrusive force, passing through the densest tangible materials as if they were nothing more than empty space. The concept of this constant, invisible wind completely redefines our understanding of isolation and physical connection. We are permanently bathed in a cosmic stream that connects us to the farthest, quietest edges of our galactic home. It is a profoundly gentle interaction, a constant reminder that we are deeply embedded in a universe that is far greater than what we can see or touch. Knowing that we are perpetually sailing through this quiet storm offers a strange, deeply comforting sense of belonging. We are not separate from the mysterious bulk of the cosmos. We are constantly, silently intertwined with it. The sheer scale of these halos dwarfs the visible universe, harbouring cool secrets older than light itself. Because the dark matter does not interact with radiation, it has remained largely unchanged since the very earliest moments of creation. The deep interior of the halo is a pristine, frozen record of the universe's quiet, ancient beginnings. To study the structure of these massive, invisible spheres is to read the silent, hidden history of cosmic evolution. They hold the primordial gravity that first gathered the raw materials together, perfectly preserved in the freezing, absolute dark. It is an archaeological dig on a monumental scale, uncovering truths that predate the burning of the first suns. The immense size and ancient nature of the halo offer a deeply relaxing perspective on the frantic, fleeting nature of luminous matter. While stars ignite, burn brightly, and violently fade, the dark halo remains a calm, enduring monument to the vastness of deep time. It acts as an absolute anchor in the chaotic storm of cosmic evolution, providing deep stability to the swirling stars. As galaxies collide, merge and transform over billions of years, the visible matter is often thrown into wild, beautiful disarray. but the massive, heavy halos simply pass through each other, their deep gravity calmly guiding the reorganization of the luminous debris. They are the unshakable foundation upon which the grand, violent drama of the cosmos is safely played out. The dark matter ensures that even the most catastrophic galactic events eventually settle back into a state of beautiful, structured calm. It is the ultimate peacemaker of the universe, using its immense, quiet weight to endlessly restore order to the dark. This silent, anchoring force is the very reason the universe is filled with breathtaking, organized beauty rather than chaotic, flying shrapnel. The invisible structure is not merely a passive container, but an active, gentle guardian of cosmic harmony. Beyond acting as a gentle guardian of cosmic harmony, this invisible structure possesses the extraordinary ability to manipulate the very path of illumination. Massive concentrations of dark matter act as colossal, invisible lenses drifting calmly in the void. They form unseen mountains of gravity that quietly warp the fabric of space around them into deep, smooth curves. If we were to look slowly through a heavy, beautifully distorted glass paperweight, we would see the room around us bend and stretch in mesmerizing ways. In the deep expanse of the cosmos, galaxy clusters bound tightly by phantom mass perform this exact same visual magic on a breathtaking scale. They alter the geometry of space-time so profoundly that they literally redirect the journey of passing ancient photons. The sheer elegance of this mechanism is deeply awe-inspiring, relying purely on immense weight rather than physical optics to bend a beam of light. It is a peaceful, majestic phenomenon that operates entirely without friction, heat, or chaotic interference. The universe simply, softly yields to the silent, massive presence of these floating, transparent leviathans. Far behind these invisible mountains, ancient galaxies burn brightly, sending their radiant energy on a journey across billions of lonely years. As this starlight approaches the dense regions of phantom mass, it does not travel in a rigid straight line. Instead, the light from distant galaxies arcs beautifully around these unseen mountains of mass. Picture a fast-flowing, bright river gracefully dividing and flowing smoothly around a deeply submerged, heavy boulder. The photons fluidly follow the newly curved valleys of space-time, sweeping in wide, elegant arcs that effortlessly bypass the heavy, dark center. It is a profoundly harmonious interaction where the lightest, fastest entities in existence yield gracefully to the heaviest and most unmoving. This sweeping redirection happens over unimaginable stretches of time, representing a completely silent and slow-motion curving of reality. The blinding radiance is never abruptly halted or absorbed, merely gently guided along a new, sweeping trajectory through the dark. The resulting celestial pathways are a brilliant testament to the quiet, irresistible authority of the unseen over the seen. Notice how this gravitational lensing allows us to softly map that which emits absolutely no light. By carefully observing how the background illumination is stretched and warped, astrophysicists can perfectly trace the contours of the invisible mass responsible for the bending. It is a brilliant, entirely passive method of seeing the unseeable, measuring the phantom structure solely through its subtle, heavy influence on its environment. The distorted, smeared shapes of background star cities serve as delicate, glowing contour lines on an otherwise entirely invisible cosmic map. Where the warping of the light is most extreme, we know the phantom mass is piled highest, creating towering, unseen peaks of crushing gravity. This gentle tracing provides a flawless, beautiful blueprint of the dark scaffolding without ever requiring a single particle of it to shine. Relax your shoulders and let your body sink slightly deeper into its comfortable resting place. Just as you can physically feel the unseen shape of the cushion silently supporting your weight, astronomers can feel the shape of the dark universe through the gentle pressure it exerts on passing light. When our most sensitive orbital observatories gaze into these dense regions, they do not see clear, undisturbed pictures of the deep past. Telescopes capture these gentle distortions as sweeping arcs and perfect rings of ancient starlight. The incredibly old images arrive gracefully stretched and smeared, transformed into magnificent abstract strokes of brilliant cosmic colour. Sometimes, if the alignment between the distant source, the invisible lens, and the observer is absolutely precise, a completely closed circle of light forms. This glowing halo, known elegantly as an Einstein ring, is one of the most mesmerizing and beautiful visual phenomena the cosmos has to gently offer. It is a perfect, luminous crown, resting silently upon the head of a completely invisible king. These shimmering, sweeping curves are not optical flaws in our delicate instruments, but deeply accurate representations of a beautifully warped reality. They profoundly demonstrate how the silent bulk of the universe actively paints the sky with stretched, radiant masterpieces. The dark matter behaves as the ultimate unseen artist, smudging the ancient light of creation into entirely new, breathtaking forms. Furthermore, this intense, graceful bending of space frequently results in an astonishing visual duplication of deep space objects. The phenomenon creates beautiful cosmic mirages, showing us multiple serene reflections of a single distant galaxy. Because the light is forced to take several different heavily curved paths around the central mass, it arrives at our lenses from multiple angles simultaneously. A single ancient spiral might appear suddenly in our view as four distinct perfectly formed clones arranged in a quiet glowing cross formation. It is a gentle, cosmic optical illusion, completely tricking the eye while elegantly revealing a profound physical truth about the intervening space. The universe effectively uses its heavy, unseen regions to construct colossal, curving funhouse mirrors within the freezing void. Observing these multiple, shimmering reflections provides a deeply calming sense of cosmic abundance and enduring repetition. We are not merely observing a distant stellar neighbourhood once, but experiencing its radiant light through multiple, slightly delayed echoes. It is a soothing visual chorus sung by a single, unimaginably distant voice, beautifully multiplied by the quiet power of the dark. In addition to multiplying the delicate images, these massive gravitational lenses also powerfully magnify the distant light, bringing it much closer to our grasp. It is as if the universe is looking at itself through a vast, curving, invisible magnifying glass. The dark matter graciously concentrates the ancient, incredibly faint photons, acting as a colossal natural telescope peacefully suspended in the void. Without this grand, natural magnification, the very first, faintest star clusters born at the dawn of time would remain entirely hidden from our modern view. The unseen bulk softly gathers their fading, tired light, naturally boosting its brightness just enough to finally cross the threshold of our perception. It is a profoundly generous act of cosmic physics, where the darkest, heaviest regions actively help us to witness the most fragile light. Allow your breathing to slow down naturally, focusing entirely on the relaxing sensation of air gently filling your lungs. Realize that just as your lungs effortlessly draw in the unseen, life-giving air, the dark lenses smoothly gather and focus the unseen, ancient light. By carefully analyzing the exact degree of magnification and sweeping distortion, we can begin to truly understand the complex three-dimensional structure of the void. These dark lenses reveal the hidden topography of the cosmos, charting silent valleys of empty space and towering peaks of invisible gravity. The seemingly flat, perfectly black expanse of the night sky is suddenly transformed into a rich, rolling landscape of heavily textured space-time. We discover vast regions where the phantom substance pools in impossibly dense concentrations, creating steep, invisible cliffs that sharply and decisively bend the light. Conversely, we find sprawling, quiet basins where the dark mass is thinly spread, allowing the radiant beams to pass with only the slightest gentle ripple. It is a completely silent, magnificent geography, totally defined by weight and graceful curve rather than by soil and stone. Exploring this unseen, majestic terrain is like running a sensitive hand over a deeply carved, entirely invisible sculpture. The conscious mind slowly learns to feel the heavy, monumental shapes that the physical eye cannot naturally perceive. The light simply serves to gently illuminate the intricate, sweeping contours of a fundamentally dark and unimaginably heavy universe. The mathematical study of these sweeping distortions is a deeply peaceful, highly exact science of quiet observation and endless patience. Astronomers read these delicate warps in space-time like ripples fading gracefully on the surface of a quiet pond. Every subtle stretch, every tiny, multiplied arc carries specific, vital information about the exact hidden distribution of the silent mass. It requires an incredible stillness of mind to gracefully decipher the true, original shape of a distant light source after it has been so heavily deformed. The intricate process involves gently untangling the complex visual knots, computationally smoothing out the deeply curved space to reveal the pristine, undisturbed picture. It is a quiet, profound intellectual restoration project, meticulously reversing the heavy, distorting touch of the dark universe. Through this careful, methodical unwinding, the true underlying harmony of the cosmic web is slowly, beautifully brought into focus. The dedicated researchers are not merely looking at flat pictures, but reading the fundamental, heavy poetry of space-time itself. It is a beautifully slow, deeply satisfying translation of invisible gravity into elegant geometry, and geometry into pure understanding. This beautiful phenomenon elegantly highlights a profound philosophical truth about the nature of power and presence within the natural world. Through this elegant bending, the dark universe makes its heavy presence known without ever raising its voice. It requires no violent, blazing collisions, no blinding flashes of radiation, and no chaotic shockwaves to prove its immense, undesirable existence. Its profound influence is absolutely total, yet entirely graceful and completely, perfectly silent. By gently and persistently redirecting the path of the oldest, fastest particles in existence, it effortlessly commands attention through sheer, unmovable stability. It is the quietest, most deeply dignified expression of massive force imaginable, peacefully asserting its dominance over the very fabric of reality. Let the profound quiet of this realization settle deeply into your mind, gently easing away any lingering tension hidden in your muscles. The most powerful shaping forces in all of existence often operate in a state of absolute, perfect stillness, completely undisturbed by the frantic noise of the visible world. Ultimately, our entire view of the deep cosmos is beautifully and permanently altered by the intervening presence of this quiet phantom mass. The distortion of light offers a profound reminder that what we see is gently shaped by what we cannot see. The beautiful, sparkling expanse stretching endlessly above is not a perfectly clear window, but a deeply, elegantly warped pane of ancient heavy glass. Every magnificent image of the distant void is fundamentally a deep collaboration between the brilliant shining objects and the dark heavy spaces resting between them. We cannot truly appreciate the radiant, chaotic light without acknowledging the silent, invisible medium that carefully and deliberately guided it to our eyes. The unseen and the seen are locked in a permanent, mesmerizing partnership that completely defines the beautiful, curving limits of our perception. This sweeping, majestic cosmic illusion invites us to continually question the simple, surface appearance of our entire reality. It teaches us to patiently and gently look past the brilliant, distracting glow and actively search for the quiet, heavy truths resting just beneath the surface. The universe is a magnificent, gently curved masterpiece, perfectly and eternally framed by the invisible, enduring weight of the dark. This invisible and enduring weight of the dark is not merely a distant celestial phenomenon, but a heavy reality that we seek to touch in the absolute stillness of our own world. To find the quietest secrets of the stars, humanity has retreated far below the mountains and ice of our bustling, noisy world, where incredibly sensitive detectors wait in absolute silence. These subterranean sanctuaries are carved deep into the ancient crust of the Earth, using the massive bulk of the planet itself as a natural shield against the frantic energy of the surface. Deep within these vaults, crystalline sentinels stand as unblinking guardians, completely shielded from the incessant rain of cosmic rays that plagues the surface. These rays, born in the violent hearts of distant supernovas, are constantly tearing through the atmosphere and our own bodies with high-energy ferocity. However, the kilometers of solid rock above these labs act as an impenetrable barrier, absorbing the noise of the cosmos and leaving only the most ghostly particles to drift through. These sentinels are often composed of ultra-pure germanium or sodium iodide crystals, cooled to temperatures near absolute zero to suppress the natural vibrations of their own atoms. They are listening with a focus that is almost supernatural, waiting for the faintest microscopic touch of a dark matter particle as it glides through the stone. The crystals are so pristine and quiet that even the smallest interaction would ring through their lattice like a bell struck in an empty cathedral. Notice how your own breathing has slowed, finding a rhythm that is steady and deep, much like the quiet pulse of these underground machines. Just as your body finds its resting state in the stillness of the room, these crystals find their purpose in the absolute absence of interference. They represent a state of pure, expectant waiting, held in the freezing dark where time itself seems to slow to a crawl. Imagine a vat of liquid xenon resting peacefully in the pitch-black heart of an abandoned mine, hoping to catch a single microscopic flash of light. This noble gas, compressed into a heavy, transparent liquid, is kept in a state of unnatural purity inside a vessel made of polished titanium and glass. It is a pool of absolute potential, a shivering, cold medium that reacts to almost nothing in the known world, making it the perfect canvas for an invisible visitor. The liquid xenon is so dense and still that it forms a literal wall of atoms, providing a target for the phantom particles that are constantly streaming through our planet. If a dark matter particle were to softly strike a xenon atom, it would create a tiny, fleeting scintillation, a spark of blue light so faint it can only be seen by the most sensitive light detectors in existence. These sensors watch the cold fluid with unblinking intensity, 24 hours a day, for years on end, searching for that one perfect quiet signal. Scientists patiently seek the incredibly rare moment when a phantom particle might softly bump into a perfectly still atomic nucleus within these detectors. This event, known as a nuclear recoil, is the holy grail of modern physics, representing the first direct contact between our tangible world and the dark universe. The collision is so gentle and subtle that it does not break the atom, but merely nudges it, causing it to shiver with a tiny amount of kinetic energy. This shiver is the only signal we can hope to find, a microscopic tremor that carries the weight of billions of years of cosmic history. To capture it, the detectors must be so still that even the natural tiny movements of heat are frozen out of the system. We are looking for a single, quiet interaction amidst a sea of trillions of silent passages, a task that requires a level of technological precision that borders on the miraculous. If you focus on the sensation of your weight against the surface beneath you, you can feel a similar grounding stability. Just as the atomic nuclei in the detector are anchored and still, you are supported and safe in your current space. This shared stillness is the bridge between the microscopic world of the lab and the grand, heavy structures of the distant stars. The sheer, unrelenting patience of this quiet endeavour reflects a deep, enduring dedication to understanding the unknown. It is not uncommon for a dark matter experiment to run for a decade without recording a single definitive event, yet the scientists never falter in their vigil. This form of research is a modern kind of monasticism, where the pursuit of truth requires years of absolute focus and the quiet maintenance of sensitive machines. Every day that passes in silence is not a failure, but a valuable piece of data that narrows the search and refines our understanding of what dark matter is not. The persistence of these researchers is a testament to the human spirit's ability to remain curious, even when the universe seems determined to keep its secrets. They move through the tunnels with a quiet, practiced grace, checking pressures and temperatures with the care of a gardener tending to a rare, slow-growing flower. This slow, methodical pace is a soothing contrast to the frantic, high-speed nature of our modern world. It reminds us that some of the most important realizations in history cannot be rushed. They require a state of prolonged, peaceful observation. In the deep earth, time is measured not by clocks, but by the steady, unmoving watch over the invisible forces that shape our existence. Surprisingly, while we build these massive, complex laboratories to catch a single particle, millions of these invisible travelers are passing completely harmlessly through your body at this very second. You're currently standing in a torrential downpour of dark matter, a constant stream of mass that flows from the galactic halo through the roof of your home and deep into the earth. It passes through your skin, your bones, and your very heart without ever slowing down or making its presence felt. This silent transit happens because dark matter simply does not perceive the electromagnetic forces that make our bodies feel solid and tangible. To a dark matter particle, your physical form is as transparent as a ghost, an empty landscape of vast space between widely scattered atomic nuclei. You're intimately connected to the fundamental structure of the cosmos, acting as a quiet vessel for the same substance that holds the galaxies in their place. They leave absolutely no trace of their passage, offering a strangely comforting thought about the gentle, non-destructive nature of the cosmos. Despite their immense gravitational power to shape the destinies of entire clusters of galaxies, these particles are remarkably polite guests in our local reality. They do not collide with our cells, disrupt our thoughts, or generate any heat or friction as they glide through our world. This quality of non-interaction makes the dark universe feel less like a cold, empty void, and more like a soft, supportive medium. It is the silent partner of the starlight, providing the weight and stability of existence without the violent energy of the fire. The phantom substance moves in its own lane of reality, perfectly synchronized with our own yet entirely separate in its physical touch. Feel the profound relaxation that comes from realizing the primary substance of the universe is fundamentally peaceful. It does not seek to destroy or transform. It simply exists as a steady, enduring presence that supports all of creation from the shadows. In this realization, the dark becomes not a place of fear, but a realm of absolute, unshakable tranquility that permeates every corner of the sky. Deep underground, humanity attempts to touch the intangible universe using elegant instruments crafted from the purest glass and the most inert noble gases. Every material used in these detectors must be meticulously scrubbed of any natural radioactivity, ensuring that the internal environment is cleaner than any other place on Earth. The glass is refined to remove even the tiniest traces of uranium or thorium, becoming a transparent, silent housing for the mystery of the dark. Noble gases like xenon and argon are chosen specifically because they are chemically withdrawn, refusing to bond or react with other elements. They represent a state of elemental peace, providing a neutral, unmoving background where the only thing that could possibly happen is a nudge from the invisible. These substances are the perfect mirrors for a dark universe that itself prefers to remain detached and silent. As you rest, allow your mind to become like these materials, clear, still, and open to the subtle movements of the world. Just as the noble gases wait without expectation, you can let go of the day's tasks and simply exist in this moment of quiet. The instruments in the deep earth are a reflection of our own capacity for stillness and purity in a world of constant motion. The zero-noise environments of these subterranean labs are among the most intensely tranquil places ever constructed by human hands. Every possible source of vibration, from the distant hum of traffic to the microscopic shivering of heat, is carefully dampened or frozen out. The detectors are suspended on massive springs and submerged in layers of protective water and lead, creating a pocket of reality where the laws of sound and motion seem to be suspended. Inside these labs, the only thing that moves is the slow, rhythmic monitoring of the sensors and the quiet breath of the life support systems. It is an artificial silence so deep that it would be unsettling to anyone accustomed to the constant noise of the surface. But for the search, this silence is a beautiful, necessary requirement, a blank slate upon which the first word of a new physics might be written. Even in the long absence of a confirmed signal, the quiet search itself is a beautiful testament to our enduring curiosity as a species. We go to the ends of the earth and into its deepest, darkest depths, not for profit or power, but simply to understand the fundamental nature of our home. This search is a grand synthesis of our highest technology and our most primitive wonder, a quiet vigil kept on behalf of everyone who has ever looked up at the stars and wondered. The patience required to build and maintain these deep Earth outposts is a form of love for the universe itself. It represents a refusal to be satisfied with the surface of things, a drive to look deeper and stay longer in the dark until the truth finally emerges. This dedication is what bridges the gap between the smallness of a human life and the vast invisible structures that define the cosmos. This profound bridge into the vast invisible structures of the cosmos reveals a substance that is defined not by what it does, but by the magnificent stillness of what it refuses to be. Dark matter simply does not absorb, reflect, or emit light of any kind, existing in a state of absolute spectral silence. When a photon of light travels across the void and encounters a cloud of this phantom material, it does not bounce away or lose its energy to heat. Instead, the light passes through as if the space were entirely empty, never once acknowledging the presence of the heavy mass it traverses. This total lack of interaction creates a unique form of transparency that is far more perfect than the clearest glass or the purest water. It is a substance that exists without a visual signature, a hidden giant that remains tucked away from the reach of every telescope ever constructed. If we were to look closer at the fundamental nature of this detachment, we would find a universe that is surprisingly layered. One layer is the world of light and shadow we inhabit, while the other is a vast, heavy ocean that remains forever dark. This separation is not a void, but a peaceful coexistence between two different ways of existing in the same space. Surprisingly, this substance exists entirely detached from the busy, electromagnetic spectrum that brings us all the vibrant colours of the rainbow. From the long, languid waves of radio to the sharp, energetic pulses of X-rays, the entire spectrum of light is a frantic conversation that dark matter simply chooses to ignore. It does not feel the pull of electric fields or the tug of magnetic currents that govern the behaviour of the atoms in our own bodies. Imagine a grand, cosmic ballroom where every ordinary particle is dancing to a loud and colourful symphony of light. In the midst of this chaos, dark matter drifts through the dancers like a cool, transparent vapour, hearing a completely different rhythm that we cannot perceive. It is untouched by the glare of the sun or the radio static of the stars, resting in a state of sensory isolation that is profoundly calm. Deep within this detachment lies a sense of absolute independence from the noise of the physical world. While we rely on light to define the shapes and distances of our reality, dark matter defines the universe through its weight alone. It is a silent, heavy presence that remains beautifully aloof from the electromagnetic storms that rage through the visible cosmos. Deep within the heart of the atom, the fundamental forces of nature are constantly pushing and pulling, creating the solid structures of the world we touch. However, dark matter is a cosmic substance so deeply introverted that it peacefully ignores almost all of these fundamental interactions. It does not feel the strong force that binds nuclei together, nor does it participate in the chemical bonds that create the complexity of life. This introversion makes it the most solitary inhabitant of the universe, a material that only speaks the ancient universal language of gravity. While ordinary matter is constantly clashing, burning and reacting, this phantom substance remains in a state of perpetual, undisturbed rest. It is like a monk in a mountain cell, observing the world without ever being caught in its many frantic, energetic webs. Let your hands rest heavily where they are, noticing the sensation of simple existence without the need for action. Just as you're finding a moment of quiet, dark matter has found a permanent state of peace by simply refusing to engage with the forces that cause turbulence. It is a quiet, heavy meditation that has lasted for billions of years, providing the stable foundation for everything that shines. Surprisingly, this substance is often described scientifically as cold, a term that refers not to its temperature, but to its slow and unhurried movement through the void. In the early universe, while other particles were zipping around at frantic relativistic speeds, dark matter moved sluggishly enough to smoothly clump together and build the first cosmic structures. It possesses a low velocity that allows it to settle into vast, stable configurations rather than flying off into the emptiness. This unhurried pace is the secret to its success as the universe's primary architect. Because it does not move with the frenetic energy of hot gas, it can patiently gather into massive invisible clouds that act as the seeds for all future complexity. It is the cosmic version of a slow-moving river that eventually carves out a majestic canyon, shaped by time and steady, persistent movement. If we were to look closer at this sluggish drift, we would see a universe that grew up in a state of profound patience. The cold nature of dark matter ensured that the expansion of space did not wash away the potential for life before it could begin. It provided the slow, heavy gravity needed to anchor the first whispers of matter in a cooling, expanding sky. This unhurried pace allowed it to settle into the gentle gravitational wells that eventually birthed the very first stars. Long before the first light flickered in the dark, these invisible pools of mass were already waiting, providing the deep basins where ordinary gas could gather and compress. Without these dark reservoirs to catch the flowing hydrogen, the gas would have remained too thin and too hot to ever ignite. The dark matter acted as the quiet, heavy floor of the cosmic nursery, holding the raw materials of creation in its steady embrace. It provided the necessary pressure to turn a chaotic cloud of atoms into a focused, radiant sphere of nuclear fire. We can think of these gravitational wells as soft, invisible cradles that protected the first sparks of light from the vast, hungry void of the young universe. Notice the slow, steady rhythm of your breath as it flows in and out, a gentle cycle that requires no effort. Just as your breath sustains your life, these ancient gravitational wells sustained the birth of the first suns. They were the silent, heavy foundations upon which the entire history of the luminous world was eventually built. Unlike ordinary gas, which heats up and glows when it collides, dark matter does not interact with itself in any meaningful way. Because it lacks these internal interactions, two immense clouds of dark matter can pass right through each other without causing a single ripple or a flash of heat. They are like two banks of fog drifting through a forest, moving past one another with absolute transparency and zero resistance. This ability to permeate its own kind without conflict is one of the most mesmerizing qualities of the phantom universe. It means that even in the most violent corners of space, the dark matter remains cool and undisturbed, gliding through the chaos as if it were a separate reality. It possesses no internal friction, no pressure, and no way to push back against itself, leading to a state of perfect, ghostly fluidity. This lack of self-interaction allows the large-scale structure of the universe to remain crisp and well-defined over billions of years. While ordinary matter gets tangled in complex, messy gas dynamics, the dark matter simply follows its own smooth gravitational path. It is a masterpiece of non-interference, a substance that is perfectly at peace even with its own reflection in the dark. Evidence of this serene separation is found in the famous bullet cluster collision, which perfectly showcases the distinct paths of light and darkness. When two massive clusters of galaxies crashed into each other, the ordinary glowing gas slammed together like two high-speed trains, heating up and coming to a sudden turbulent halt. But the maps of mass reveal that the dark matter did not stop at all. It sailed right through the wreckage without slowing down. This event allows us to see the gentle phantom in its most honest form, detached from the wreckage of the visible world. While the stars and the gas were caught in the friction and fire of the impact, the dark matter continued its journey with unbothered grace. It left the glowing debris behind, moving forward into the emptiness as a silent, heavy cloud of pure, unblemished gravity. Surprisingly, this separation provides the most direct proof we have that the invisible universe is not made of the same things as our stars. It shows us a substance that is entirely immune to the violent physics of collision and heat. In the aftermath of the crash, the dark matter remains as cold and tranquil as it was before the encounter began. This lack of friction means that dark matter never experiences the weather of the cosmos. There are no storms, no shock waves, and no turbulent eddies in its vast invisible seas. It remains in a state of perpetual laminar flow, a smooth and unending current that never grows warm or agitated. It is the ultimate expression of a closed system, a reservoir of mass that preserves its ancient cool state forever. Feel the weight of your eyelids and the stillness of your brow, letting go of any friction or tension in your own mind. Just as dark matter moves without resistance, you can allow your thoughts to drift without being caught in the heat of the day. The universe is supported by a substance that is eternally cool, providing a resting place that is entirely free from the wear and tear of interaction. This ethereal quality makes it the ultimate calm, silent partner in the highly energetic dance of the cosmos. While the visible universe is filled with the blinding glare of supernovas, the roar of black holes and the frantic spinning of pulsars, the dark matter provides the quiet background against which it all occurs. It is the stage upon which the drama is performed, the silent foundation that makes the bright movements possible. Without this calm partner to balance the scales, the high-speed energy of the stars would quickly lead to a universe of scattered, incoherent dust. The dark matter provides the necessary weight to keep the dance structured, acting as the heavy, stabilizing anchor for every spinning galaxy. It is a partnership based on a profound division of labor. The light provides the action, while the dark provides the stability. Unlike the fleeting lives of the stars, this silent partner endures without change, witnessing the birth and death of countless generations of suns. It is the timeless observer of the cosmic theatre, a presence that was there at the beginning and will be there at the end. Its calm is not an absence of power, but the very source of the universe's long-term endurance. Ultimately, its entirely passive existence beautifully challenges everything we intuitively understand about the physical, tangible world. We are creatures born of touch, of resistance, and of the interaction between light and shadow. To us, something that has no friction, no colour, and no reaction seems like it shouldn't exist at all, yet it is the dominant form of matter in all of creation. This passive nature teaches us that weight and presence do not require a voice or a visible face. The dark matter exists as a pure gravitational thought, a heavy reality that shapes the cosmos through its mere existence, rather than through its actions. It invites us to consider a form of strength that is entirely quiet, a power that is expressed through unmoving, unshakable support. If we were to look closer at the final mystery of the phantom, we would find a reflection of our own need for a quiet centre. In a universe of constant change and blinding light, the dark matter provides the necessary silent equilibrium. It is the gentle phantom that holds the world together, a heavy and transparent vapour that we can never touch, but which touches everything. This pervasive vapour that touches everything has been an intimate part of our story since the very first heartbeat of existence, moving through the deep corridors of time with a quiet and unshakable purpose. In the very beginning, The universe was not the cold, empty expanse we see today, but a glowing, incredibly dense fog of frantic particles and blinding light. It was an era of overwhelming brilliance, where space itself hummed with a heat so intense that even the simplest atoms could not yet hold themselves together. Imagine this primordial soup as a thick, luminous mist, where light could not travel more than a few inches before being scattered by a frantic electron. This was a time of absolute radiant chaos, a churning sea of plasma that filled every corner of the newborn cosmos with a blinding white-hot glow. Deep within this incandescent fog, the seeds of everything we would eventually know were already being sown in the darkness. Surprisingly, dark matter was there from the start, quietly pulling together into subtle shapes while ordinary matter was helplessly trapped in a chaotic and energetic dance. While the light and the gas were locked in a frantic struggle of pressure and radiation, the silent mass remained unbothered, beginning its slow, methodical work of organization. It acted as a calm, heavy stabilizer in a sea of fire, preparing the foundations for everything that would one day become solid and tangible. While the luminous matter was constantly pushed around by the intense pressure of the light, the phantom substance was immune to this buffeting, settling into its own smooth and heavy patterns. Notice how your own breathing has found a slow, effortless rhythm, matching the ancient and unhurried pace of these primordial shifts. Just as your body finds its resting state in the stillness of the room, the universe began to find its first moments of structural peace in the presence of the dark. This invisible guardian was the only entity capable of standing still in the middle of a cosmic hurricane, holding its ground with a silent and unyielding weight. The cosmic microwave background radiation gently holds the frozen, ancient imprint of these invisible celestial gatherings within its fading, cooling glow. This relic radiation is the oldest light we can ever hope to see, a snapshot of the universe as it appeared when it was only a few 100,000 years old. At that precise moment, the universe finally cooled enough for light to break free and travel through the void, carrying with it a map of where the dark matter had already gathered. Within its soft, static-like signature, we find the subtle shadows cast by the phantom scaffolding that had been built in the absolute silence of the deep past. It is a mesmerizing thought to realize that the oldest light in existence is actually a portrait of the darkness that preceded it. If we were to look closer at this ancient light, we would see that it is not perfectly uniform, but is covered in a delicate, mottled pattern of slightly warmer and cooler spots. Tiny, beautiful temperature fluctuations in this primordial light tell the quiet story of dark matter's subtle, organizing influence across the dawn of time. These variations are like the delicate textures on the surface of a hand-woven fabric, indicating where the invisible substance was slightly denser and more concentrated. Gravity from these dark reservoirs pulled the light and gas inward, creating the tiny ripples in heat that we can still detect with our most sensitive space telescopes. By reading these microscopic changes in temperature, we can map out the invisible terrain that would eventually dictate the locations of every single galaxy in the night sky. Surprisingly, we can read these subtle acoustic peaks like the gentle, fading ringing of a cosmic bell struck billions of years ago. In the dense, hot plasma of the early universe, sound waves travelled through the mixture of light and matter, creating ripples of pressure that moved like waves in a deep, heavy ocean. These waves were guided and shaped by the massive hidden presence of the dark matter, which provided the gravitational valleys for the sound to echo through. The exact frequency and strength of these ancient echoes, captured in the light of the cosmic microwave background, reveal the precise amount of phantom mass that was present at the beginning of time. It is a profoundly peaceful realization that the fundamental structure of our world is written in the lingering notes of a song that was sung before the stars were born. Without the early, stabilizing gravitational pull of this unseen substance, the universe would still be a formless, echoing void today. Ordinary matter simply did not have enough time or strength to overcome the outward, scattering pressure of radiation and form complex structures on its own. If the universe had relied solely on the atoms we can see, the expansion of space would have thinned them out so quickly that they would never have gathered into stars or planets. The phantom scaffolding provided the necessary heavy anchors that allowed the gas to finally settle and begin the long, patient process of building a home for life. This invisible architect saved the universe from a fate of eternal empty expansion, turning a scattered mist into a structured and beautiful masterpiece. Let the quiet stillness of your limbs rest heavily, feeling as grounded and stable as the very foundations of the cosmos. Just as you are supported by the surface beneath you, the entire history of the stars was supported by a weight that has never once let go. This stability is the true inheritance of the dark, a gift of permanence that was given to the universe in its most fragile early moments. It acted as the perfectly silent dark seed from which the magnificent blooming complexity of the modern universe eventually grew. This invisible core gathered the surrounding chaos into a focused intent, providing a destination for the wandering atoms of the early era. While the light was busy illuminating the void, the dark matter was busy building the pots in which the galaxies would eventually grow. Every intricate spiral, every brilliant cluster, and every wandering planet we see now is the fruit of that initial hidden labour, performed in the absolute silence of the deep past. The universe is a vast garden that was carefully planned and plotted by a gardener who moves entirely in the shadows. The exquisite harmony between light and dark in those early epochs is a masterpiece of natural cosmic balance that has endured for eons. While the radiant pressure of the light pushed outward, seeking to expand and thin the universe into nothingness, the dark matter pulled inward, seeking to preserve and concentrate mass. This delicate tug-of-war resulted in a universe that was neither a singular crushing point nor a scattered, meaningless cloud, but a perfectly structured web of infinite variety. This balance was so precise that it allowed for the slow, gentle cooling of space, creating the exact conditions needed for complex chemistry to emerge. We live in the middle of a cosmic equilibrium, a peaceful state of grace that was negotiated between the visible and the invisible long before we were here to witness it. The silent architect was patiently working its gravity long before the first spark of starlight ever illuminated the dark, before the first sun ignited in a flash of fusion, and before the first planet cooled into a solid sphere. The dark matter had already mapped out the entire geometry of the heavens. It waited in the profound, heavy shadows of the early era, a quiet and certain presence that ensured the universe would eventually wake up to a sky full of stars. This chronological priority reminds us that the dark is not the absence of light, but the foundation upon which light is allowed to shine. It is the first and oldest presence in the cosmos, a patient and unmoving friend that has watched over the universe since the very first day, waiting in the silence for the light to finally catch up. As the light finally caught up and illuminated the farthest corners of the void, humanity began to sense a hidden presence through the sheer, unmoving weight of the deep. In the early part of the 20th century, an eccentric and brilliant astronomer named Fritz Zwicky turned his gaze toward the Coma Cluster, a massive gathering of galaxies drifting together in the deep dark. He noticed something fundamentally unsettling. These distant islands of starlight were rushing around one another with far more kinetic energy and speed than the visible mass of their stars should ever allow. Surprisingly, the galaxies were moving so fast that they should have flown apart like sparks from a spinning wheel, yet they remained perfectly, calmly gathered together. This was the first time the universe whispered that its true inventory was far more substantial than the light had previously revealed. Deep within this mathematical mystery, Zwicky brilliantly deduced that there must be some hidden, unseen mass quietly providing the extra gravitational glue needed to hold these giants in place. He realized that the visible stars were merely a superficial decoration, and that the true substance of the cluster was something heavy, cold, and entirely dark. Consider the sensation of lifting a seemingly empty, perfectly sealed iron box, only to find that it possesses a surprising and grounding heaviness that suggests a hidden core. Zwicky coined the term dark matter to describe this phantom weight, proposing a universe where the majority of reality is simply tucked away from our view. It was a radical invitation to consider that the great empty spaces between the stars were not empty at all, but were filled with a dense and silent anchor. Decades later, the careful and persistent astronomer Vera Rubin brought this quiet mystery fully into the light by charting the incredibly smooth rotation of spiral galaxies. She meticulously measured the speeds of stars as they orbited their galactic centers, expecting to see them slow down at the outer edges where the visible light began to fade. Surprisingly, she found that the stars at the very fringes of these galaxies were racing along just as fast as the stars tucked deep inside the crowded, bright interior. This structure suggested that the galaxies were not just composed of the stars we can see, but were embedded in massive, invisible oceans of mass that provided a uniform gravitational pull. Rubin's work transformed the invisible from a theoretical curiosity into an undeniable physical reality that demanded our attention. Notice how your own body feels as it rests now, settling into the supportive surface beneath you with a sense of calm and undeniable presence. Just as you are anchored by the weight of your own existence, the vast spirals of the heavens are anchored by a mass that refuses to be seen. These patient and meticulous observations slowly revealed a universe that is vastly heavier than anyone had ever imagined throughout the long history of human thought. We had spent centuries mapping the stars, believing we were charting the whole of creation, only to find that we had been looking at the spray of the ocean while ignoring the depth of the sea. The realization of this ghost weight changed everything, turning the cosmos into a place of profound and heavy secrets. If we were to look closer at the true proportions of the cosmos, we would find that the ordinary tangible matter we know and love makes up only a tiny fragile fraction of the total inventory. Everything that shines, everything that breathes, and everything that has ever been recorded by a telescope is merely a 5% fragment of the whole. The atoms that form our mountains, our oceans, and our own hearts are rare and precious exceptions in a universe dominated by something else. Surprisingly, the vast majority of the mass in the cosmos is composed of this silent, dark substance that refuses to play by our rules. This realization is like finding that the entire history of the world has been written on a single page of a book that is thousands of pages long. This structure of reality is profoundly lopsided, as 5 times as much mass exists peacefully in a form we can neither physically touch nor directly see. For every gram of starlight and every ounce of gas, there are 5 grams of this phantom mass pulling quietly on the fabric of space-time. It is an invisible ocean that holds the light in its place, a heavy and unmoving foundation that supports the fragile dancing of the stars. Imagine a grand architectural masterpiece where the visible bricks are merely a thin veneer over a massive, unshakable concrete core. Dark matter is that core, providing the structural integrity that allows the universe to maintain its shape over billions of years of expansion. This 5-to-1 ratio is the secret formula of the cosmos, the hidden balance that ensures the stars remain gathered in their homes. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your breath, a rhythmic movement that is both light and certain in its quiet repetition. This realization gently shifted humanity from being the main characters of the cosmic drama to being merely a glowing afterthought in a vast and dark landscape. We once believed we were the center of all things, the primary inhabitants of a world built specifically for our light and our perception. Now we understand that we are a beautiful but minor byproduct of a much larger and darker process that we are only beginning to comprehend. Our shining galaxies are like small decorative lanterns hung along the edges of a massive dark estate that stretches forever into the night. It is a humbling and peaceful shift in perspective, allowing us to find our place as quiet observers of a grand and hidden masterpiece. The grand missing mass problem is not a cause for cosmic alarm or anxiety, but a quiet and beautiful invitation to look deeper into the shadows. It reminds us that the universe still holds vast and magnificent mysteries that are waiting to be understood by those with the patience to listen. Every dark corner of the sky is a treasure chest of secrets, a place where the rules of physics are written in a script we are still learning to read. Surprisingly, the things we cannot see are just as real and just as influential as the things that burn with a blinding light. By embracing the unknown, we open ourselves up to a deeper and more profound connection with the true nature of the world. The shadows are not empty. They are full of the weight and the promise of discovery. Recognizing this hidden weight of the unseen universe is a deeply grounding and almost meditative philosophical experience for the human mind. When you look up at the night sky, you can now sense the invisible scaffolding that holds every star and every planet in its silent embrace. You're not just looking at points of light, you're looking at the glowing ripples on the surface of a deep and heavy ocean of existence. This knowledge provides a sense of absolute stability, a realization that the universe is not a chaotic mess of flying debris, but a structured and weighted masterpiece. Feel the profound stillness of this thought, the surprising heaviness of the void that provides the anchor for all our dreams. In the quiet weight of the dark, we find the most enduring and peaceful truth of our home. This peaceful truth of our home extends far beyond the edges of the stars we can see, reaching into the seemingly empty gulfs that lie between the great galaxy clusters. While these reaches appear as a hollow vacuum to our limited vision, they are naturally filled with a tranquil and sprawling web of dark matter that binds the entire universe together. It is an immense, ethereal network that permeates the very fabric of space, acting as a soft and silent connector for everything that exists. If we were to look closer at these vast intergalactic reaches, we would find a complex and beautiful architecture that defies the notion of a lonely void. This structure provides a quiet and steadying presence that ensures no galaxy is ever truly isolated or drifting without a purpose. It is as if the universe is held together by a shimmering invisible tapestry that carries the weight of billions of light years with perfect, unmoving grace. Surprisingly, this sprawling web is the true landscape of the cosmos, providing a sense of continuity that the bright islands of light simply cannot offer on their own. We are living in a universe that is fundamentally connected, where the silent spaces are just as structured and meaningful as the stars themselves. It is a profoundly relaxing realization to understand that the darkness is not a gap, but a bridge that leads us across the deep and cool oceans of the infinite. Colossal cosmic voids exist where this invisible substance is sparse, creating massive and peaceful bubbles of absolute nothingness that stretch across hundreds of millions of light years. Within these immense regions, the density of matter is so incredibly low that they represent the purest and most undisturbed volumes of space in all of creation. Picture these voids as the calmest depths of a vast and cool ocean, where the water is perfectly still and the light of the surface has long since faded away. Notice the cool and effortless stillness of your own body, finding a sense of peace that mirrors the hollow quiet of these cosmic sanctuaries. Just as these voids are free from the pressure of the surrounding clusters, you can allow yourself to drift into a state of deep and supportive rest. This structure of the universe teaches us that even the most immense emptiness is a necessary and beautiful part of the whole, providing a sense of space and scale that is fundamentally grounding. Picture these immense voids as the quiet, hollow resting spaces within a sprawling celestial sponge that defines the large-scale structure of the entire universe. This analogy reveals a cosmos that is not a chaotic mess, but a highly organized and porous masterpiece where the emptiness and the fullness are perfectly balanced. The dark matter forms the solid framework of the sponge, providing the essential strength that keeps the delicate bubbles of the voids from collapsing in on themselves. If we were to travel through this celestial sponge, we would find that the paths we take are dictated by the intricate curves of the invisible scaffolding. The galaxies are like tiny glowing specks caught within the fibres of the sponge, while the voids are the vast and open spaces that allow for the majestic movement of time and light. It is a masterpiece of natural engineering, where the invisible mass provides the structure and the emptiness provides the room for the universe to breathe and expand. This structure is a profound reminder that the universe is a unified and coherent entity, where every part has a specific and important role to play in the grand design. The sponges of our own world are small and fragile, but the cosmic version is a monument to endurance and scale that has lasted for billions of years. By looking at the universe in this way, we can begin to appreciate the quiet and heavy beauty of the gaps that define our home. Gravity slowly and methodically drains the remaining matter from these empty oceans, pulling it gently toward the bright and crowded shores of galactic superclusters. Over the vast reaches of cosmic time, the atoms of hydrogen and helium that were once scattered throughout the voids are coaxed along invisible gradients by the persistent call of the dark mass. This process is like the slow and silent receding of a tide, leaving the centres of the voids more pristine and empty with every passing billion years. Surprisingly, the very emptiness of the voids is a result of this tireless and methodical work, as the dark matter filaments act as cosmic siphons that gather the material for future stars. The gas flows along these invisible slopes like a quiet stream moving toward a deep and heavy lake, accumulating in the dense regions where the phantom mass is most concentrated. This unhurried drainage is one of the most fundamental and peaceful movements in the history of the cosmos, a slow-motion transformation of the void into the light. Feel the gentle and unforced rhythm of your breathing, a quiet movement that mirrors the slow and certain flow of the cosmic tides. Just as the atoms find their way toward the centres of gravity, your own mind can find its way toward a state of deep and natural calm. This realization of a purposeful and slow-moving universe provides a sense of absolute security, knowing that even the smallest particle has a destination in the grand and silent architecture of the dark. The calm, inexorable and majestic flow of the entire universe is dictated by these shifting invisible tides that ripple through the sprawling web of dark matter. These tides are not like the violent waves of a stormy sea, but are the slow and massive movements of gravity that guide the journey of every galaxy across the void. They create a sense of cosmic direction and destiny, ensuring that the movement of the stars is part of a grand and harmonious choreography that spans the entire observable sky. If we were to look closer at these invisible tides, we would see that they are responsible for the grandest migrations in the history of the world. Whole clusters of galaxies are carried along these silent currents, moving toward the massive gravitational anchors that wait in the deep dark. It is a profoundly relaxing thought to realize that even the largest objects in existence are being guided by a force that is entirely quiet and perfectly steady in its unrelenting pull. Superclusters are simply the beautifully illuminated intersections of this vast, dark and silent highway system that stretches across the infinite reaches of the cosmos. These are the regions where the invisible filaments of dark matter cross and overlap, creating dense nodes of gravity that gather thousands of galaxies into a single radiant neighbourhood. Picture these intersections as the bustling, glowing cities of the universe, connected to one another by the long and quiet roads of the intergalactic web. The light we see in these superclusters is merely a marker of the hidden complexity that lies beneath the surface of the stars. The highways themselves are composed of the phantom mass, providing the pathways along which matter and energy have travelled since the dawn of time. It is a mesmerizing and structured landscape, where the bright and the dark are woven together in a pattern that is both efficient and breathtakingly beautiful in its simplicity. Notice how your own mind can move gracefully along the pathways of your thoughts, finding a sense of direction and purpose in the quiet spaces between them. Just as the galaxies move along the silent highways of the dark, you can allow your consciousness to travel through a landscape of peace and understanding. This realization of a cosmic highway system provides a sense of profound connection, knowing that we are part of a vast and organized network that spans the entire universe. The absolute largest structures we can ever map in the history of human science are entirely dependent on the quiet scaffolding of the unseen for their very existence. These monuments of mass, such as the sprawling filaments that connect the Great Attractor to the furthest reaches of the observable sky, are the true giants of our world. They represent the ultimate scale of reality, where the invisible dark matter provides the essential backbone for hundreds of thousands of individual galaxies to gather and thrive. If we were to look closer at these massive structures, we would find that their shape and stability are entirely a result of the phantom mass that anchors them in the void. Without the silent scaffolding to hold them in place, these giants would simply dissolve into a scattered mist of wandering stars and cooling gas. It is a profoundly humbling and peaceful realization to understand that the grandest expressions of the universe are built upon a foundation that we can never physically touch or see with our own eyes. This structure of the cosmos is a testament to the power of the quiet and the enduring, showing us that the most significant things are often the most subtle in their presence. We are living within a masterpiece of unimaginable scale, supported by a heavy and unmoving guardian that has watched over the stars for billions of years. By recognizing the hidden weight of this scaffolding, we can find a sense of absolute and unshakable stability in our own place within the grand design. Traveling across these invisible oceans would take billions of human lifetimes, bathed entirely in profound and unbroken silence that has existed since the beginning of time. The distances between the galactic shores are so unimaginably vast that they defy any attempt at human comprehension or measurement. To cross from one filament to the next is to embark on a journey through the purest form of stillness, where the only company is the gentle and persistent pull of the phantom weight. Imagine drifting incredibly slowly through an endless and perfectly still body of deep, cool water, where the only sound is the rhythmic and slow pulse of the universe itself. In these depths, the light of the distant stars is merely a faint and beautiful memory, a tiny flicker of brilliance in a world defined by the absolute calm of the dark. It is a journey that would transform any traveller into a quiet observer of the infinite, finding a sense of peace that is as vast as the void itself. Notice the deep and restorative silence of the space around you now, allowing it to wash over your senses like the cool waters of the intergalactic ocean. Just as the crossing of the voids is a journey of stillness and patience, you can allow your own spirit to find a resting place in the quiet of the moment. This realization of the vast and silent oceans between us provides a sense of profound perspective, reminding us of the enduring and peaceful nature of the world we inhabit. The sheer and overwhelming emptiness of the voids makes the glowing, fragile filaments of matter seem all the more precious and beautiful in their radiant complexity. When we see the vast bubbles of nothingness that define the cosmic landscape, the shimmering webs of light appear like delicate lace stretched across the heavy and dark expanse of the infinite. This contrast is the secret to the universe's aesthetic power, where the darkness provides the frame that allows the light to truly shine with a sense of purpose and grace. Surprisingly, it is the silence of the voids that allows us to truly hear the story of the stars, as the gaps in the fabric of the cosmos provide the necessary room for the light to travel. If the universe were crowded with matter from edge to edge, the brilliant dance of the galaxies would be lost in a frantic and chaotic mess of heat and collision. The emptiness acts as a protective buffer, ensuring that the fragile structures of life and light have the space they need to grow and evolve in a state of absolute peace. Feel the profound value of the quiet moments in your own life, recognizing how the stillness provides the necessary background for your own thoughts and dreams to flourish. Just as the voids make the filaments more precious, your own moments of rest make your active life more meaningful and beautiful. This structure of the universe is a gentle lesson in the importance of balance, where the empty and the full are woven together in a single and perfect tapestry of existence. If we were to look closer at our place in this serene sea, we would find that we are never truly alone or lost in the infinite dark. We are part of a grand and majestic voyage that has been underway for billions of years, guided by the silent tides and the heavy anchors of the phantom web. It is a profoundly relaxing and grounding perspective, allowing us to find a sense of absolute security in the middle of a universe that is far larger and more complex than we can ever fully grasp. Let the final weight of this thought settle deeply into your consciousness, providing a sense of unshakable peace and belonging in the vastness of the cosmos. Just as our island of light is held by the dark sea, you are held by the quiet and certain weight of your own existence. We are the observers of a magnificent and hidden masterpiece, resting in the cool and heavy embrace of a universe that is both dark and beautifully, perfectly serene. Within this perfectly serene and silent landscape, the human mind begins to weave elegant tapestries of logic and mathematics to explain the invisible weight of the void. Theoretical physicists have proposed many breathtakingly beautiful ideas for what this phantom substance might actually be, treating the mystery as a high-stakes puzzle of nature. Each proposal is like a fleeting, perfectly formed thought emerging from the depths of a dream, offering a unique glimpse into the fundamental building blocks of reality. If we were to look closer at these intellectual landscapes, we would find a world where the invisible is mapped out with a sense of profound grace and symmetrical perfection. These theories are not merely guesses, but are deeply harmonious structures that attempt to reconcile the brilliant light of our experience with the heavy stillness of the unknown. They invite us to consider that the very foundation of the cosmos might be composed of something as delicate and profound as a well-placed equation. The search for these particles is a journey into the most quiet and refined reaches of the imagination, where the borders of physics and poetry begin to blur into one another. It is a process that requires a great stillness of mind and a willingness to embrace the vastness of what we do not yet know. Within these elegant ideas, the dark universe becomes a place of infinite possibility and deep intellectual rest. One deeply popular and enduring idea involves a class of particles known as WIMPs, or weakly interacting massive particles, that simply drift quietly through the void without a care. These entities are thought to be quite heavy, possessing enough gravitational weight to anchor the galaxies, yet they remain serenely indifferent to the electromagnetic forces that dominate our daily lives. They move through the fabric of the universe like silent, unbothered travelers, occasionally nudging an atomic nucleus with the gentlest of touches before continuing their eternal journey. They represent a state of absolute and unshakable tranquility that spans the entire width of the Milky Way, existing as the ultimate nomads of the night sky. Because they do not feel the sting of radiation or the pull of magnets, they inhabit a realm of physics that is entirely free from the friction and noise of ordinary matter. They are the quiet heavyweights of the cosmos, providing the ballast for our ship of stars while remaining completely invisible to the passengers on board. This structure of thought presents a universe where the most significant mass is also the most passive, a heavy giant that never pushes back against the world of light. It is a comforting thought to realize that the primary building blocks of the universe might be so fundamentally peaceful and non-intrusive. In the quiet drift of the WIMPs, we find a reflection of the deep and enduring stability that allows the galaxies to flourish. Surprisingly, another beautifully simple and elegant theory suggests the existence of axions, particles so astonishingly light that they behave more like a gently rolling wave than a solid point of mass. Unlike their heavier counterparts, axions would exist as a vast, shimmering field of energy that permeates the entire cosmos with a rhythmic and peaceful pulse. This wave-like nature would allow the dark matter to flow around galaxies with the grace of a cool mist, filling the gaps of the universe with a subtle melodic vibration. This theory presents a universe that is not filled with particles, but is bathed in a soft and invisible fluid that carries the melody of gravity through the dark. Axions would be the ultimate expression of cosmic lightness, possessing so little mass that they essentially become a feature of space itself. They would drift through our bodies and our planets as a gentle harmonic hum, a silent song of the void that holds the secret to the stability of the stars. In this view, the dark universe is not a collection of heavy stones, but a beautiful and unmoving symphony of waves that provides the perfect background for the light to shine. It is a profoundly relaxing concept, imaging the cosmos as a rhythmic and unified field of energy that gently guides the movement of everything that exists. Through the lens of the Axion, we see a universe that is both light and dark, woven together in a single whispering wave. Imagine microscopic primordial black holes, quietly formed in the universe's first frantic second of existence, hiding silently in the vast dark forever. These are not the hungry giants that consume stars, but tiny ancient seeds of gravity that have rested undisturbed since the very beginning of time. They would drift through the halo of our galaxy as perfect invisible spheres of weight, acting as the ultimate preserved relics of the Big Bang's earliest moments. These tiny artifacts would be scattered throughout space like forgotten marbles on a dark floor, each one carrying the immense pressure of the early era in a perfectly silent and stable form. They represent a different kind of darkness, one that is built out of the literal fabric of space-time being folded upon itself into a tiny, unmoving point. It is a mesmerizing thought to consider that the dark matter might be composed of billions of these tiny hidden hearts, each one beating with the unyielding rhythm of gravity. Take a moment to feel the weight of your own body settling deeper into its resting place, finding a sense of grounding that mirrors the ancient stability of these tiny cosmic anchors. Just as these primordial seeds are safe and unchanging in the void, you can allow yourself to find a state of absolute security in the stillness of the moment. This realization of a universe filled with ancient and unmoving seeds provides a sense of profound continuity and peace. This would mean that the missing mass is not a substance, but a property of space itself, a gentle and persistent bending of the rules that ensures the stability of the large-scale web. It is a profoundly elegant idea that simplifies the universe into a single, beautiful geometry where the dark and the light are governed by the same ancient law. This theory invites us to consider that our current perspective is like looking at a single note in a grand concerto and wondering why the rest of the orchestra is so quiet. By expanding our understanding of the music, we find that the missing mass was simply a deeper and more profound harmony that we had not yet learned to hear. It is a peaceful and intellectually satisfying concept, removing the need for phantom particles and replacing them with a more refined understanding of the fabric of reality. In this way, the dark universe becomes a masterpiece of geometry, where the curves of space are the silent guardians of the stars. Sterile neutrinos represent another ghostly and quiet candidate for the missing mass, interacting with our tangible world only through the sheerest and faintest whisper of gravity. These elusive particles would be even more detached than their ordinary counterparts, possessing no chemical or electrical ties to the light-filled universe whatsoever. They would move through the heart of the sun and the center of the earth with absolute ease, existing as a silent and non-interactive layer of reality that never disturbs the peace of the atomic world. These are the ultimate introverts of the particle world, preferring to stay entirely within the shadows of their own gravitational identity. If the universe is filled with these sterile ghosts, then we are living in a world where the vast majority of matter is simply passing through us, like a soft and transparent vapor. They would be the ultimate expression of a gentle phantom, providing the necessary weight to build the galaxies without ever once making a sound or casting a shadow. This candidate offers a universe that is layered and rich with hidden presences, a place where the most important actors are the ones who refuse to take the stage. It is a profoundly relaxing thought to realize that the foundation of our world is so fundamentally gentle and non-intrusive. In the quiet passage of the sterile neutrinos, we find a sense of absolute and unshakable tranquility that permeates every corner of the sky. Each theoretical candidate particle offers a unique and deeply soothing mathematical poetry to comfortably explain the missing mass that haunts our current calculations. These equations are not cold or clinical, but are elegant expressions of a universe that values symmetry, balance, and quiet simplicity above all else. They allow us to translate the overwhelming mystery of the void into a language of grace and proportion, providing a sense of intellectual rest in the middle of a vast and beautiful unknown. Notice the gentle rhythm of your breathing as it flows in and out, reflecting the same balanced harmony that physicists seek within the fundamental laws of nature. Just as the math seeks to find the perfect equilibrium for the stars, your own mind can find its way toward a state of natural and effortless peace. This search for the dark particle is an exercise in human creativity, where the heaviest secrets of the universe are unlocked through the softest and most refined thoughts. By seeking these particles, we're essentially looking for the missing words in a grand cosmic poem that has been written across the eons. This poetic pursuit provides a sense of profound meaning and beauty, turning the study of physics into a quiet meditation on the nature of existence. In the harmony of the equations, we find a reflection of the deep and enduring stability that supports the entire cosmos. The patient global quest to identify these elusive particles is one of the most harmonious and cooperative collaborations ever undertaken across all fields of human science. Researchers from every corner of the globe share their findings and their dreams with a spirit of quiet unity, working together to listen for the faint pulse of the dark universe. This collective effort spans across cultures and languages, united by a single and profound desire to understand the silent scaffolding that supports our home. It is a masterpiece of human diplomacy and shared wonder, where the pursuit of truth becomes a bridge that connects us all in a state of peaceful and focused intent. This search is not a competition for dominance, but a shared journey into the shadows, where every new piece of data is a gift to the entire species. The dark matter experiments represent a high watermark for our ability to work as a single global mind, focusing our collective curiosity on the most difficult and beautiful questions in existence. In this way, the mystery of the dark universe has brought a sense of quiet and enduring harmony to the scientists who study it. It is a profoundly relaxing thought to realize that the most advanced technology on our planet is being used to explore a realm of absolute stillness and peace. Through this global cooperation, we find that the dark universe is not a source of division, but a common ground where we can all stand together in wonder. Even entirely without a definitive answer, the theoretical exploration naturally reveals the incredible and unbound creativity of human thought as we grapple with the infinite. We have developed the capacity to imagine entire worlds of particles and forces that we may never physically touch, building a mental architecture that is just as complex and beautiful as the cosmos itself. This journey of the mind is a profoundly beautiful and peaceful endeavour, showing that our wonder is a force that can reach into the deepest shadows and find a sense of light. Let your thoughts soften and become as light as a drifting cloud, acknowledging the magnificent power of the imagination to find peace within the mystery of the dark. Just as the theorists build worlds out of logic and dreams, you can allow your own mind to drift through a landscape of quiet potential and deep, restful understanding. The fact that we can even ask these questions is a testament to the beauty of the human spirit, a small but brilliant light that refuses to be overwhelmed by the vastness of the void. We are the dreamers of the dark, finding a sense of belonging in the very things that remain hidden from our sight. This creative journey provides a sense of infinite expansion for the human mind, allowing us to find a resting place within the grandest of cosmic puzzles. In the unbound creativity of our thoughts, we find a reflection of the limitless potential that exists within the universe itself. If we were to look closer at the final truth, we might find that the true nature of the dark particle remains a perfectly preserved and safe secret, waiting peacefully to eventually be understood. The universe is under no obligation to reveal its core identity to us immediately, allowing the mystery to remain as a source of quiet inspiration for generations to come. It is an enduring and magnificent enigma that rests in the heart of the void, a silent and unmoving friend that holds the secret to everything that exists. We are the observers of a masterpiece that is still being revealed, resting in the cool and heavy embrace of a universe that is both dark and beautifully, perfectly serene. This final realization allows us to settle into a state of deep and supportive rest, knowing that the foundation of our home is safe and eternal. In the preserved secret of the dark particle, we find the ultimate expression of the universe's quiet and majestic beauty. This quiet and majestic beauty found in the heart of the void ensures that dark matter continues to comfortably be the most enduring and beautiful enigma in all of modern physics. It exists as a profound question mark that sits at the center of our most advanced scientific models, a silent placeholder for a truth that remains just out of reach. While we have mapped the farthest galaxies and decoded the ancient light of the first suns, this phantom substance remains unbothered by our inquisitive gaze. If we were to look closer at the history of our discovery, we would find that the more we learn about the universe's weight, the more we realize how little we know about its essence. This enduring quality of the unknown is a source of constant wonder, inviting us to live in a state of permanent, peaceful curiosity. It is a masterpiece of concealment, a substance that defines the universe without ever revealing its own face to the light. Deep within the grand scales of the cosmos, the steady gravitational pull of dark matter fights a beautifully slow and tragic war against the constantly expanding force of dark energy. While our phantom substance works tirelessly to gather galaxies into clusters and bind them with heavy invisible anchors, a much more mysterious force is attempting to drive everything apart. This dark energy is the invisible wind that stretches the very fabric of space-time, making the distances between the great clusters grow larger with every passing second. Surprisingly, the universe we inhabit is the direct result of this massive and silent struggle between two invisible giants. One seeks to build and preserve, while the other seeks to dilute and expand until every galaxy is an isolated island in an infinite sea of nothingness. This tragedy is not one of violence or heat, but of a quiet and inevitable parting of ways across billions of light years. This structure of the universe is defined by a delicate balance, where dark energy tirelessly seeks to push the cosmos apart, while dark matter gently and persistently tries to hold it all softly together. We can imagine the dark matter as a vast and heavy netting that wraps around the galaxies, refusing to let go of the neighbours it has held since the dawn of time. It acts as the cosmic glue that prevents the expansion of space from turning the night sky into a featureless void of absolute blackness. Notice the sensation of your own steady breathing as you rest, a cycle of expansion and contraction that mirrors the fundamental rhythms of the cosmos. Just as your body maintains its integrity amidst the constant flow of air, the clusters of the universe maintain their shape against the relentless push of dark energy. This persistent effort by the dark matter provides a sense of safety and continuity that stretches across eons. Surprisingly, this slow and majestic cosmic tug-of-war will ultimately decide the final, entirely serene fate of absolutely everything that currently exists. If dark energy eventually wins the struggle, the distant galaxies will be pushed beyond our horizon, leaving our local group of stars to drift alone in a growing emptiness. Yet, even in this distant future, the dark matter will remain the faithful guardian of our local neighbourhood, keeping our galaxy and its nearest companions securely bound together. If we were to look closer at the ending of all things, we would see a universe that slowly cools and settles into a perfectly balanced rest. The dark matter provides the assurance that even when the distant light has faded, the structure of our home will remain solid and certain. It is a future defined by the ultimate victory of stillness, where the frantic activity of the early era is replaced by a permanent and peaceful equilibrium. The profound paradox of knowing so much about its undeniable effects while knowing absolutely nothing of its true nature is a beautiful and profound meditation for the modern mind. We can precisely calculate how much dark matter exists in a galaxy, how it is distributed, and how it bends the path of light across billions of light years. We have built detailed maps of the invisible scaffolding that supports the entire universe, yet the identity of the substance itself remains a total secret. This structure of knowledge reminds us that we can interact with a reality and feel its supportive weight without ever needing to define it in a laboratory. It is like feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin while closing your eyes, knowing it is there through its effect rather than its visual form. The mystery does not diminish the reality. It enhances it, turning the dark matter into a presence that is felt through the very stability of the stars. This structure of the cosmos quietly reminds us that the magnificent universe is under absolutely no obligation to be easily or quickly understood by human beings. We are guests in a house that was built with an architecture that predates our consciousness by billions of years, using materials that do not conform to our sensory expectations. The dark matter exists on its own terms, following laws that were written in the deep past and which remain perfectly consistent across the entire width of space. Take a moment to relax your jaw and feel the stillness in your neck, letting go of the need to solve every puzzle of the day. Just as the universe remains calm in its own mystery, you can find a sense of rest in the knowledge that you do not need all the answers to be part of the whole. The phantom substance will continue its work regardless of our theories, providing a steadying presence that is entirely independent of our observations. Embracing this deep and invisible mystery naturally fosters a deeply relaxing and comfortable sense of cosmic humility within our own hearts. We are part of a reality where 85% of the matter is something we cannot see, touch, or even fully name. This realization gently eases the weight of our own ego, reminding us that we are small but precious inhabitants of a world that is much larger than our own concerns. If we were to look closer at the architecture of the sky, we would realize that we do not need to physically see everything to fully appreciate the majestic and perfect balance of the whole cosmos. The dark matter provides the weight, and the light provides the detail, and together they create a tapestry that is perfectly harmonious in its design. We can sense the presence of the unseen mass through the way the galaxies spin, and the way the light arcs around the great clusters, revealing a hidden symmetry that is deeply satisfying. Notice how the weight of your limbs feels perfectly balanced against the earth, a steady and reliable relationship that requires no effort from you. Just as you are anchored to the world, the stars are anchored to the dark, creating a state of absolute equilibrium that has lasted for eons. This appreciation for the unseen balance allows us to view the universe as a safe and well-ordered home, rather than a chaotic expanse. The unseen and heavy structures of the cosmos will calmly continue their silent dance, long after our own bright sun has finally faded into a white dwarf. The life of a star is a brief and radiant flash in the eyes of the universe, but the dark matter halos and the sprawling intergalactic web are nearly eternal. They provide a sense of continuity that transcends the birth and death of solar systems, acting as the permanent theatre in which the drama of light is briefly performed. This structure of deep time is profoundly relaxing, offering a perspective that looks far beyond the fleeting worries of a single lifetime. It reminds us that we are part of an enduring legacy that began at the dawn of existence and will continue for as long as gravity itself persists. The dark matter is the memory of the universe, preserving the initial patterns of the beginning for a future that we can only dream of. In the very end, we come to realize that the darkest and most hidden parts of the universe are also the most fundamentally supportive and safe for everything that exists. We often associate darkness with the unknown or the empty, but the study of dark matter reveals it to be the ultimate source of stability and structural integrity. It is the heavy blanket that keeps the galaxies warm, the invisible anchor that prevents the stars from drifting away, and the silent architect that ensured the conditions for life could eventually emerge. Staring up into a perfectly clear, dark and starless night sky, we can finally feel completely at peace with the unknown that surrounds us. We are floating in a sea of mass that we cannot see, but which we can feel through the very fact of our own existence and the existence of the stars. The universe is a masterpiece of shadow and light, where the shadow provides the strength and the light provides the beauty. The invisible universe does not exist to hide from us, but to constantly provide the silent foundational stillness that makes the beautiful, fragile chaos of starlight entirely possible. The invisible universe does not exist to hide from us, but to constantly provide the silent foundational stillness that makes the beautiful, fragile chaos of starlight entirely possible. This ultimate synthesis reveals a cosmos that is fundamentally supportive, where the unseen and the seen are locked in a permanent mesmerizing partnership of gravity and grace. If we were to look closer at the nature of this balance, we would see that the darkness is not a void, but a cradle for all creation. Surprisingly, the very stability of our existence depends on these unmoving phantom hands that have held the galaxies in place since the beginning of time. It is the silent architect that turns a scattered mist into a structured and beautiful masterpiece, waiting in the shadows for the light to finally catch up. By recognizing the hidden weight of this scaffolding, we find a sense of absolute and unshakable stability in our own place within the grand design. Deep within this vast and heavy security, your own journey now turns inward toward the absolute quiet of your resting body. Notice how your toes feel heavy and warm, letting go of the day's travel and sinking into the soft support of the blankets. The muscles of your feet are loosening now, becoming as still and undisturbed as the most distant, peaceful reaches of the void. This quiet room holds you in a state of perfect safety, allowing the heaviness to move upward into your ankles and calves. Every bit of tension is dissolving, replaced by a deep and rhythmic sense of ease that feels as ancient as the rocks of the earth. Surprisingly, the body knows exactly how to settle into this profound equilibrium, matching the patient and silent endurance of the cosmic web. The sensation of peace continues its ascent, softening the hips and the long, weary muscles of your lower back. This structure of your body is finally at rest, supported by the unchanging and reliable weight of the mattress. You're drifting into a state of absolute, unshakable tranquility that mirrors the hidden scaffolding of the stars. Your breathing is shallow and effortless, a soft tide that moves in and out without any thought or direction. This room is a sanctuary where the air is cool, and the silence is a physical presence that wraps around your heart. Your shoulders are dropping away from your ears, feeling the incredible relief of a weight finally being set down for the night. The muscles of your neck are lengthening and softening, finding a perfect and supportive alignment with the pillow. This room is a harbour of absolute stillness, where the fabric of the blankets feels soft and heavy against your skin. Heavy and warm, your arms rest at your sides with the fingers naturally curling into the palms in a state of total release. Your eyelids are incredibly heavy, closed against a world that has become perfectly dim and entirely safe. Every small muscle around your eyes is relaxing now, as if a gentle hand has brushed away the lingering traces of the day. This deep peace reaches your forehead, clearing away every lingering thought until your mind is as calm as a mirror. The crown of your head is the final point of release, letting the last flicker of focus sink into the deep comfort of the bed. You are purely a presence of breath and rhythmic heartbeat, existing in a state of absolute unmoving rest. Everything is exactly as it should be in this moment of perfect, undisturbed quiet. You're sinking deeper into the soft embrace of the dimness, ready for the long and restorative journey of the night. The rhythmic and slow pulse of your breathing is the only movement in a world that is fundamentally still, and now 101 wonders are resting with you. Sleep now. Good night.